A lot of times clients do not give you that much extra space to set up. They think they're doing you a favor by setting you up on like an end table or something. They're like, yeah, will that do? And you're like, no. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the 21st day of the 25 days of Kitmas. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I set up on location with my makeup kit and what my station looks like. I will also be showing you guys how you set up in large areas and also small areas as well. When we're makeup artists, sometimes people do not give us the adequate amount of table space that we need to complete our jobs, and setting up in really weird areas or just situations that we don't have enough space are a very common thing, unfortunately. So being able to adapt your kit to whatever size space that you have is very essential. Before I begin with this, I want to give you guys really quick tips. So first of all, having a set style bag is honestly probably the best. It takes up the least amount of space and you can have everything laid out in front of you. You don't have to like unload a bunch of materials. You don't have a bunch of bags going on. It's just really handy. And then also make sure you can set up and tear down in about 5 minutes, because a lot of the times you do not have time to be setting up your stuff because you need to start on your applications immediately, almost as soon as you get there. Now, I do highly recommend that if you are especially doing a wedding party, you let your brides know that you will be arriving about 15 minutes before the actual start time for the applications, just so it gives you time to arrive, get situated, and get set up, and then you start the applications. Some people do not realize that we can't just teleport to the location and have all of our stuff set up at the exact same time. And then you also want to make sure you can tear down your stuff very quickly. Sometimes you are getting ready in locations other than the venue, and a lot of the times people have to leave almost immediately after the last application is performed. For instance, if you were setting up at people's houses, they can't just leave you inside of their house to pack up your stuff. You need to leave when they're leaving. I get to the point where I just shove everything inside of my kit and just leave really quickly. And sometimes it's not even organized. So setting yourself up in a very organized and precise way is really nice and also is very efficient for you while working. Okay, first of all, this is the style bag that I was talking about. It's a set style bag, meaning that you can put this down, open it up, and then you can work directly out of the kit. So this is what it looks like. You guys have probably seen it with my other 25 days of Kitmas videos, but it's just nice and compact because you have like everything laid out in front of you. You can see all of your products and it's very easy to grab. I'm going to be showing you first off how you set up in large spaces. And again, this can heavily vary depending on the amount of items that you have and also which items that you have inside of your kit. But this is generally how I like to set myself up. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that whatever surface that I'm working on is very clean. If it's not, I will go ahead and take paper towels that I carry with me, spray down the surface with alcohol, and then wipe it clean. You can also bring a thing of Lysol disinfectant wipes. I would highly recommend though that you do bring some sort of travel pack of these. Obviously you can't just bring this whole entire thing with you because that's not gonna fit in your kit. Since I already have these here because I am at my house, I'm gonna go ahead and just remove one of these and wipe down my station. The next thing you want to have with you is some sort of either towel or mat or something to be able to set up your products on top of. You don't want to just directly set the makeup that is touching people's faces on just the bare surface. You want to have some sort of protectant. So I bring along black towels. I just keep it right over my kit. Then I can just pull it out really quickly. And this is the very first thing that I put down on my station, just so all of my makeup can go on top of it. And pretty much the surface area of this whole towel is what all my makeup is going to go on. But if you do need more space, you might need to condense yourself a little bit because a lot of times clients do not give you that much extra space to set up. They think they're doing you a favor by setting you up on like an end table or something. They're like, yeah, will that do? And you're like, no. That's why I always tell people that you need to learn to condense yourself as much as possible on set because you will not have that much room. Luckily in this bag, all I have to do is pull out some items on the top and then the rest I can work out of on the bottom. The only things I really need to pull out are my disposables. Then I have my little bag that's holding all my dirty brushes once I get done with the client. And that is it on top. Then on the back, there's a back pocket over here. And I just have makeup remover wipes stored in there, so I do like to get those out. And then I do like to get my tissues or paper towels out as well for cleaning in between people. Then the other thing that I usually have attached to my makeup kit right on the handle over here is this container, and this is a brush canister from Makeup Forever. It's called the Danny's pouch. Then I also will set my brush belt down on the table too. This is my brush belt from my Kitco. It just holds all my stuff inside of it. And there is some dog poo bags that I keep right on the side. And that is because I use this as a mini trash can on one side and then dirty brushes on the other. So I'm gonna go ahead and unravel this. And I'll put it on the bigger side because one side is bigger than the other. This is the bigger side. And then this will double as a trash can. A lot of the times if you're working in like a smaller space, or maybe you're working like in a hotel room, they either have really small trash cans or there's just none that are accessible at the moment. Some people buy those car pop-up trash cans that lay flat in your kit and you can just pop them up on site. You can also use one of those. But having some sort of trash can of your own is really essential. You don't just want to leave all of your dirty mess or your trash all over your station because it's very unhygienic. What I usually do with the other side is when I'm working physically on a client, I will put all of their brushes that I use on them in this compartment. Then when I'm done with their application completely, I will scoop them up and then put all the dirty brushes into here, just so I'm not reusing brushes or accidentally touching brushes that I've used on somebody else. So that's pretty much my system for this. So I will go ahead and put this on the back somewhere of my station. Then this disposable box does not stay open by itself. So what I do is go ahead and open it and lean it against the trash can. That way it's open for me and I have it easily accessible. Then all I do is go ahead and open this guy up completely, flip this back. The only things that I like to get out personally, because I know I'm going to use them, is my matte shadow palette. And then I also get out my shimmer palette too, because I know that I'm going to use those on almost every single person. And then the rest of this stuff is going to stay inside of the kit because I can just work out of it directly and pull out of it as I need. Then these I go ahead and open all the way just so I have easy access to them. I'm going to move this over slightly. Then I'm going to put those right here. So then I usually find room to set down my brush belt somewhere. And then all I'm going to do is unload the stuff that I need outside of this. So I have all my palettes. I go ahead and get out my spatula because I'm going to need that. Then I will get out a palette. I also do highly recommend that you keep more than one palette in here, just so you don't have to sit there and like scrape off and clean off all of the makeup in between people. Then I will keep all my scissors, lash glue, and also my tweezers right here. And I know I need all of these for the application, so I'm going to go ahead and get those out as well. I will just shut this back up because I don't need anything else out of here. And then this one just unzips. You fold it back. There is a little band on the back that you can slide it into, so it just secures it in place just so you don't have to mess with it. And then that is what it looks like now. Then with the palette, I just kind of organize myself a little bit. And yeah, that is about it for the kit station setup. Like, as you guys can see, that took me 0 time hardly. Also, every single time I do pull a product out of there, put it on my station and use it on somebody, I'll leave it on my station. I won't put it back in my kit because at that point in time, I'll know at the very end of that application which things that I have to sanitize. I'll sanitize all the things, put everything back the way that I found them inside of my kit, and then reset it almost for the next person just so I know where things are. If you start leaving stuff all over your station and it doesn't look like this every single time you start with a new person, you're going to get very confused at where things are. And again, seconds add up to minutes, so you really want to make sure to be as organized as possible. So just have the kit there, then I have disposables, the trash can behind it, then I have the 2 eyeshadow palettes, my tools, my palette, and my spatula over here. Then I just have my brush belt sitting over here. Yeah, and you guys can see it's not taking up that much space. Like, I could almost fit it on half of this vanity. That is how I would set up my stuff though if I had an adequate amount of table space. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and set up in another place, and this is going to be a dining room table. And yes, this is still going to be a pretty like large space, but I wanted to show you guys how you can set up on like round tables because they are a little bit different than doing like rectangles like this. Okay, so I'm now in my kitchen and I'm gonna be setting up on this round dining room table. I'm going to be showing you guys in real time how long it actually takes me to set up if I like wasn't talking and trying to explain to you guys how to set up. Now that you guys already know how I do set up my stuff, and I pretty much try to set it up the same way or in the same order on my station every single time so I know where things are. Like, my kit always goes on the left, my brush belt always goes on the right, and then all my stuff kind of fits in between. So that's kind of how I like to set it up every single time. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and time it for you guys just so you guys can know how long it actually is supposed to take you. I'm just gonna clean off the table here and I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna go ahead and start now. Sorry, this is kind of far away. I just don't have anywhere else to put the camera. and time. That is what the station setup looks like. I know you guys couldn't see it from a distance, but I was not cutting out any footage or anything just so you guys could see realistically how long it took me to actually set that up. Now what I'm gonna show you guys is how I actually tear it down. And again, I will go ahead and time myself on this just so you guys can see how fast I actually have to tear it down sometimes too. And I know this is going to be a little bit different because a lot of the times there's going to be a mess happening all over the place, but I do highly suggest getting some sort of bag that is like this. So for any of your like utensils or dirty items or even the pallets that you don't feel like cleaning off at the time and you just need to get out of there really quickly, throw your dirty pallet with all the liquids and everything that you depotted into this bag or into like a Ziploc bag or something, just so you don't have to deal with it right then and there. Unless you're obviously like going to a different job or something, but having everything that's dirty inside of a bag like this is really handy to have. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start tearing everything down. And again, nothing sped up or anything. And normally I would throw all my utensils and everything into this bag because obviously the pallet would be dirty and everything. Oops, forgot to put that back in there. And then your trash bag would normally be thrown away in a trash can, or you can also take it with you if you don't know where a trash can is. Okay, and then I'm good to go. Yeah, so then I am good to go and everything is all packed up again. So again, really should not be taking that much time setting up, tearing down, etc. So now what I'm gonna do is show you guys how you deal with setting up in smaller spaces. This is when you need to organize yourself as best as possible. Okay, so we're gonna pretend like you were walking into a hotel room or somebody's house and the only thing that they have for you is this end table right here and maybe a couch next to it. So in that instance, I would put all of your hygienic things onto this table and then set your kit on the couch. And you kind of just need to utilize space like this. Just use your resources. You can also see if you can pull in like chairs that people have, like you can use sitting chairs for things. I don't need this lamp, so I would just set it on the ground. And don't be afraid to go in and like rearrange people's houses because that's usually what I do anyways. So I have my brush belt with me and then I'm gonna sanitize this table and clean it off a little bit, just so it's as clean as it possibly can be. I apologize, this is like the most awkward angle ever. I'm gonna set my kit down on the actual couch because the bag itself doesn't really need to stay sanitary all the time. Nothing on the outside is touching your client's faces or anything. So set it down on the couch. Even though it's going to really suck because you're gonna have to bend over and like keep reaching for your kit. Ideally, I do like to have my kit be like, you know, somewhat within arm's reach so I don't have to bend down and go grab it because it does hurt your back after a while. But if you absolutely need to, just use all the furniture that you possibly can in a space. Open this up. Get your towel out of there and set it up on your station. Like that. And again, this is why you want to be as compact as possible so everything that you need can sit on here. So I went ahead and laid out the disposable box because you still want to keep that on this surface. Then I know that the brush belt is not going to fit up here, but I do need to get out my sanitary items. So I need to get out my lash glue, my tweezers, and also my scissors. And then I'm going to put them on here. Then of course the palette and the spatula need to be kept hygienic. So those are also going on here as well. And I do have a smaller palette that I can grab just in case I do have smaller spaces, so it doesn't take up as much room. Then I'm just gonna separate out my trash can and set it right here. Pull out the dog poo bag from the brush belt, put it in here. I opened up my makeup case over on the couch and I'm flipping this thing backwards. Then I'm going to utilize the armrest on here and then put my brush belt on there. So yeah, as you can see, that is how I would set up my station if I did need to set up in something this small. And then I just utilized the space that I had over here. So I would have to grab all my products and then put them onto that station to be able to work out of. The only thing I do not have room to put out is my eyeshadow palettes, and that's the only thing that probably would not fit there. It might make it a little bit more inconvenient, but I just do not have the space to set up over there. The only other thing that I would probably do is you do need this bag, obviously, to store dirty brushes into. But what I would probably do with this, instead of taking it out completely, I would probably store it inside the top compartment, just so it's not touching any furniture or getting like your client's stuff dirty. I would just store it like right in your bag like this, and then just take it out, put your dirty brushes inside of it, and then throw it back in here just so you're not dirtying up anything. But yeah, other than that though, you have every single other thing that you would need. It's just in a smaller space. So you can pull like chairs or benches or whatever, and maybe pull it like right next to the actual table, and then put down your brush belt on there. Also, really quick note before I end here, I did want to point out the fact that you should not be setting up anywhere else that has like a lot of foot traffic going on. So don't set up in like the entryway or the doorway of places, because people are just going to be coming in and out of there. You might be having a lighting system with you, or you might have your whole entire chair with you. And in that case, you don't want to be in people's ways. So make sure you can set up maybe in a corner that's not being occupied, or a room that's not being occupied as much. And do not set up in bathrooms. Not only is it not good lighting, but it also is very unhygienic, just because it's a bathroom. People use bathrooms for you know what, and you don't want to be setting up in unhygienic places like that. A lot of people will honestly try to shove you into bathrooms. It's going to be a thing. People might be using that bathroom. Like if it's the only bathroom, say like inside of a hotel room or something, you might be getting kicked out every once in a while for people to use the bathroom. Again, just make sure you set up in places or rooms that do not have a lot of foot traffic or people going through them all the time, and just try to make yourself out of the way as much as possible. It's going to be more convenient for you, and it also be more convenient for other people. Yeah. That is the last note that I wanted to leave on. So anyways, if you guys did enjoy this, definitely go ahead and give me a big thumbs up on the video, as well as also subscribing down to my channel, and also turn on those post notifications, because I will be uploading for the next 4 days up until Christmas. As always, I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. All right, bye.